The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. The second leg of the Social Welfare Department's study aid payout is more organized than last week, at least from what was observed in Quezon City. For updates, let's bring in Brian Castillo. He's reporting to us live on the ground. Brian, can you tell us the latest situation there?
Riza here at the National Vocational Rehabilitation Center in Quezon City for the second leg of the SWD's distribution of educational assistance. As you can see behind me, there are no more lines and crowding, far from the chaotic situation last week. Earlier this week, the agency announced that they will prohibit walk-ins and will only entertain those who registered online. This came after hundreds of people flocked to the SWD field offices for the educational ayuda. This time, authorities are making sure that only the beneficiaries with a confirmation text will be allowed in the premises. On the first step, the SWD staff will verify the applicant's documents such as school ID and certificate of enrollment. Unfortunately, here in QC, there were some who got denied despite the complete requirements. It turned out school officials weren't able to sign or write their printed names on a signed certificate of enrollment. Those who were rejected are left with no choice but to go home and wait for a new schedule. After the verification process, applicants will have to wait for a few minutes to have their details encoded before proceeding to the payout. While many of our kapatid immediately got their educational assistance, others also complained of the slow processing and payout distribution. However, they're still grateful because they will use the money to buy school supplies. Riza, some claimants here lined up as early as 3 a.m. Now, only a few people are seen to claim their ayuda. Riza?
Thank you for that update. That was Brian Castillo reporting live from Quezon City. Meanwhile, the Budget Department says the government's Libreng Sakay program may still get funding for next year, at the discretion of the Congress. Marian Enriquez with the report.
Commuters in the metro may no longer avail of Libreng Sakay in 2023. The Transportation Department said the program was excluded in the proposed national budget for next year.
Ang ginagastos namin dito ngayon sa Libreng Sakay ay around 10 to 12 million pesos a day, no? And kung dadagdagan natin yung bus na kailangan natin ng mas malaking pondo, no? Unfortunately, hindi kasama yan sa budget natin for 2023.
We are appealing, of course, to our legislative branch of government kung maaari pong mapondohan pa rin po itong service contracting.
Some lawmakers have expressed support for the continuation of the program.
Baka matulungan natin, Mr. Chair, ang DOTR na makuha man lang itong budget na ito. Napakalaki ng tulong yung libreng sakay para sa ating mga mamamayan.
This is alarming and this is concerning because a lot of our public transportation sector, a lot of our commuters are also relying on the libreng sakay of the government.
The Budget Department clarified that the service contracting program is a one-time expenditure item, meaning it's not a regular program with annual funding. DBM Undersecretary Goddess Libiran further explained that it was only implemented at the height of the pandemic. She noted, though, that it will still depend on Congress whether or not budget will be allotted for the program. The DOTR's proposed budget for 2023 amounts to more than 166 billion pesos, a huge chunk of which will go to the rail transport program. Lawmakers in the lower chamber are expected to deliberate the agency's budget by third week of September. For News 5, Marian Enriquez, we are One News.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. The World Health Organization records 1 million COVID-19 related deaths in 2022 alone. WHO Chief for COVID-19, Maria Van Kerkhouse, says it's time for a, quote, reality check, and that the toll was heartbreaking as tests, treatments, vaccines, and public health measures were all available. She added that the virus is here to stay, but the public should live with it responsibly. The organization has tallied over 6 million deaths since the onset of the pandemic in late 2019.
It's quite concerning, given that we're at the end of August this year and more than 1 million people have died just this year alone. All the more so tragic given that we have tools that actually can prevent these deaths.
Let's now take a quick look at today's other top stories. The health department says the country may see up to 9,000 daily COVID-19 cases by the end of September. The agency explains that this is due to higher mobility as classes reopen. 2 passengers are still missing from the ferry that caught fire off a Batangas port on Friday. Search and rescue operations are ongoing and the cause of the incident is still under investigation. And prices of diesel and kerosene are expected to increase by more or less 5 pesos per liter next week. Gasoline prices are also seen to go up by over a peso. Now, for more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World Online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I'm Riza Diaz. We are One News.